Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's weekly live immigration attorney chat here at Immigration for Couples. I'm attorney Megan Pastrana. And for those of you who are new to our firm, welcome. I'm excited to have you here for our live event. I know that we have a lot of individuals with comments already rolling in. So if you do have questions, that's what this live is all about. Please feel free to throw your questions in the comments and I will get to those in the order that I receive them. And good morning to all of you who are saying good morning. I always like to start out by asking where you are at in the world. So for those of you who have been attending lives on a regular basis, you know that. So if you want to throw in the chat, where are you at in the world? And also, how are you feeling about your immigration journey? I did that last week, and that was helpful, I think, for individuals to see they're not alone and feelings of maybe overwhelm or stress or just nervousness about the unknown. And today is a very important day. It's election day. And so I'd be remiss if I didn't start there and just say, if you are a US citizen, if you are eligible to vote, your voice counts. Please go and vote if you haven't already. I've already done so, especially as a woman, knowing that women spent more than 60 years of active work to be able to receive the ability to vote in the United States. It's so important to exercise your civic duty to vote, to let your voice be heard. It really does count. And it's just such a it's really such an honor that we're able to vote in the elections. There are so many countries that don't have a free and fair elections. And so please go and vote. All right. And especially for all of those who have just recently become US citizens, we have so many clients that we've helped this year, especially, who took that next step from permanent resident status to US citizenship. And now they are eligible to vote. So congratulations to all of you. That's exciting. If this is your first time voting, go make your voice be heard. All right. So, all right. Yay. You're in California and you voted. Yes. That is awesome. All right. And then good morning, Betty Ann from Canada. Awesome. Yeah. Rusty, your word with the elections. Yeah, the fear of the unknown is part of the human experience. But taking that step, if you're eligible to vote, letting your voice be heard is huge. So yes, that is probably a common feeling for individuals, especially those going through an immigration process. Yes, early voting. That's awesome. And you're in Jacksonville, Florida. Good for you. Awesome. Great. All right. And I did want to mention, I realized I didn't since I was talking about the election. I want to mention that here at Immigration for Couples, my team and I, we created a free resource center with a lot of love and caring consideration for all of you who are going through an immigration process. And so that is located at our website, immigrationforcouples.com, and I'll post it in the comments after the show as well, but that's below. And if you want to make an appointment to talk with me one-on-one in private about your case, you can also visit the website and book your appointment 24/7. And then the phone number is below if you would prefer to call the office, and my team can help you get on my calendar. All righty. Yes, good morning. You hope that I'm safe and healthy. Yes, thank you very much. I hope you are as well. And I do have a couple questions as well that I received after the live event last week, and I will go over those here today. So I'll jump over to those. I want to start with those of you who are here and asking your questions live. Oh, yay. We have someone from South Africa. It's great to have you. I remember you've joined us before because I remember that adorable picture. Yes, in Canada. Awesome sauce. Great to have you with us. All right. Good morning. Perfect. Good morning from Pakistan. All right. All right. So the very first question I have, does a prior tourist visa refusal under Section 214B at the U.S. Embassy impact a fiancé visa application? So great question. It's a good question. It's a good one when it's like covering me up because it's huge. So basically, I answer this question a lot, and that's fine because it's a question that a lot of individuals have. So the tourist visa, the reasons that it's denied will determine whether or not it will have an impact on your fiance or spouse visa application in the future. Often a tourist visa is denied because immigration doesn't believe you have the correct intent, which is to just come and visit and then return home. So if you don't have enough evidence that shows that you have intentions to just visit and that you'll be returning home, that tourist visa would be denied. And so if it's a denial based on that, typically that won't impact a future application. However, when you are denied for a tourist visa, typically they'll just give you that standard, you've been denied, you don't have the proper intent notification, and they won't go into any other details about their decision. Sometimes, sadly, there are companies that are not licensed immigration attorneys, that are not experts in immigration law, that are, they exist in the US, and then they're all over the world, where they tell you, we promise, or we'll give you your best chances of getting a tourist visa. And they will prepare an application and maybe give information that isn't fully accurate. And that can cause you huge issues with your future applications, because if you are ever dishonest with immigration or present information that isn't true, that can cause you to have a bar under immigration laws for fraud and misrepresentation. So, in general, the answer is, in general, this is not something that would necessarily impact or negatively impact your chances at approval. But I've definitely seen situations where a prior tourist visa or student visa denial does cause complications for that next step. All right. Okay. So, Wilfredo, you're asking about asylum. So my firm practices exclusively in couple-based and family-based immigration. So when I was, years ago in law school and things like that, I definitely studied asylum, even represented clients with that. But currently, our firm it does not assist with asylum. So I won't answer that question fully. I will say that yes, an assault charge can impact an asylum application. And then if someone has other, crimes, which is what you're asking about, can that result in a denial? Absolutely. If you have an immigration, an asylum case, or if you are asking this for someone else, it's really important that you find an immigration attorney who practices in the realm of removal defense. So that is asylum, cancellation of removal, things in that court sphere. So definitely that can impact any immigration case, because they are looking at your good moral character and looking at national security and things of that nature. So it's definitely important that you have an expert on your side for that case. Okay. Oh, this is a very interesting question, a good one. So Jay, what type of relationship is good for the fiance visa? An arranged marriage or love? So arranged marriages are fine in the world of immigration. The standard is a bona fide relationship. So it's a relationship that is based on an intention, typically love, to really combine your lives and have a future together, that you are wanting to live your life together, that is your intention. We've represented a lot of clients that have arranged marriages, and part of that process, it's different maybe for than couples who maybe meet and fall in love, but oftentimes there is love at the foundation, and that will grow as that union continues to evolve, just like any relationship. So is one necessarily better? No. Is the standard still the same? Bona fide relationship, that you have this genuine intention to join your lives, to live your lives together, to that you will see each other together, you'll be together, rather, is what I want to say, side by side in the future. That your intention is that, and your intention is not, hey, you're doing this, you're having this relationship and getting married solely for the purposes of immigration, a benefit. So that's not allowed. That's called marriage fraud. When we see that in the Hollywood movies. That's what I see the most when I see Hollywood movies portraying something about immigration. The two things are they will see that, oh, I can, just get married to this US citizen and then solve my problems. And that's not that's not how that works. That's marriage fraud. You can't just marry someone to receive that immigration benefit. So that's why, neither of these is necessarily better. It's just the way and the way in which you decide to meet and start that relationship and start your union. But as long as your intention is that of wanting to have that bona fide relationship, that's fine. Okay, so hopefully that helps answer your question. So that's great. All right. So in the next question, Lisa. So good morning and thank you so much. You're very welcome. I'm going to back up a little bit. Hopefully you can still hear me. For a spouse green card case, is it advisable to wait until we've been married for 2 years to submit the application? Is there a safe or beneficial length of time? Wow, you guys have really unique, interesting questions today. I love it. So it really kind of piggybacks off of Jay's question about, which relationship type is better. My response will be very similar. You are having approved immigration that you have a bona fide relationship, a relationship that's based on love, that's based on this intention to have a life together. And so there's no requirement that you wait a certain amount of time. Sometimes relationships happen and in a moment where all the stars align and you find your person and you fall in love quickly, and that can happen in a short amount of time, and that is still a bona fide relationship and you could still move forward with the immigration process. So waiting longer, waiting until you've been married for 2 years really isn't advisable, because the immigration process right now is taking on average at least 18 months for couples to get through and get to the finish line. Your relationship is going to continue to grow and evolve, and you're going to nourish that union, and you're going to have more relationship evidence. And immigration makes you prove your relationship throughout the process at different phases. Now, it really will come down to whether or not you have enough evidence to show that this relationship is bona fide. If it's a recent meeting, or you don't have a lot of joint finances, or there's just not a lot of relationship evidence that you can use to prove the case, then it might be advisable to wait. But in general, I will tell you, one of the top things that couples tell me at the end of their immigration journey, reflecting back, is, I wish I would have started sooner. So it's a really great question. I know that you're wanting to build the strongest case possible. So I love that you're being meticulous. If you check out our free resource center, immigrationforcouples.com, link below, and I have a resource about relationship evidence. And I really dive into what it is immigration officers are looking for in the different types of evidence and some of the top red flag indicators. So I would encourage you to check that out. And as I mentioned at the start of the live here today, I'm always happy to speak with you in private about your particular case if you have any concerns, and we can talk over a Zoom call about your case and when is the best time for you to get started. All right. Who do we have next? So any news about the parole program? So it's still in limbo. It's still paused as of now. Hoping that we will get some positive updates soon. All right. Does USCIS check your social media? It absolutely does. And I like your quote, tough times don't last, tough people do. That's very inspirational. That is awesome. Yes, they do. And they actually a few years ago added some questions to the applications to ask for all of your social media handles and checking out your social media. So yes, they have a very thorough process, and they have an entire fraud investigation team dedicated to really looking into relationships. So if relationships have too many red flags and they think that there's any concern, they actually have officers go out and knock on doors, your neighbors' doors and things like that, and inquire about the relationship. So yes, they do. And I do want to pop over to the questions that I had after the live last time that I wasn't able to get to, that I received after the fact. So this person is asking about ESTA, and she said that Basically, her significant other is coming on ESTA later this year, and she's wanting to know if he can stay 90 days. And so I do get this question a lot. Hey, with ESTA, can my spouse or fiance come and spend 90 days and then leave and then come back and spend 90 more days? And just wanting to make sure if it's the question usually is it 90 days in the calendar year or is it really 90 days per visit? So with ESTA, it is 90 days per visit. You can stay up to 90 days. The important thing, though, to understand is that every entry to the United States is discretionary. So every entry on ESTA, every entry on a tourist visa, that immigration officer is going to look at the circumstances of your entry and determine whether or not you have the right intention. So similar to that question I had earlier about the tourist visa, and when the officer is using their discretion, they're determining whether or not you have the right intent. And they want to make sure that you don't have an intention to come here and live. And so when you are married or engaged to someone in the United States, the immigration officers are definitely going to ask questions about that. And if they have any concerns about your intentions, whether or not they think that you're going to be staying, they can tell you, we're not going to allow you entry and send you back home. So the 90 days, though, to answer that question, is that because it's discretionary and because that immigration officer is going to be looking at circumstantial evidence, having shorter trips, and you're not going to be able to come for 90 days and then leave for a month and come back for 90 days. A good rule of thumb, it's not a law, but a good rule of thumb that immigration officers use when they're reviewing your entries is in the past 12 months, how many times have you come? Have you come multiple times, and have you stayed more than half the year here? Typically they don't want to see you in the United States more than half the year. And frankly, if you are spending more than half the year in the United States, it can have tax consequences too. So in general, yes, the law says you can stay up to 90 days, but I just wanted to be clear that every entry is still discretionary. All right. So let's see. How long does it take after the case I-130 is sent to the Department of State? So I understand your question to be that once the I-130 is approved and it's then sent to the National Visa Center, how long does it take? So once that I-130 is approved and the case is transferred to the National Visa Center, usually that transfer process takes about 30 days, give or take. And you'll receive an email from the National Visa Center when that transfer has happened. They've actually been quite efficient with, specifically for spouse visa cases, with sending that NVC notification. And then from there, it'll be sent to a U.S. embassy or consulate abroad for an interview. So you'll be put in line for an interview after you complete the National Visa Center phase. And that, how long it will take for an interview to be scheduled, is really going to be dependent on the type of case that you have, and then also country of origin. So some countries have a much longer wait time than others. All right, and let's see. So someone is asking, Romania, sorry, I have your name on there, is asking how long it will take for the whole spouse visa process in the United States. Your spouse filed the I-130 in March of 2024. So right now we're seeing around 18 months. So to be clear, it's not 18 months for the I-130 phase. Typically that very first step, the petition, the I-130, it takes about a year. Now, if you're a lawful permanent resident petitioning for your spouse, it takes 2+ years. But in general, we're seeing that it's about a year. Sometimes it can go a little beyond that year or a little less, but in general, it's taking a year. And then from there, it will be transferred to the National Visa Center. That typically takes a month or so, and then you're put in line for an interview. And so the 18 months that I'm giving is really a combination of the USCIS, the petition, the National Visa Center, and then the interview scheduling abroad. And again, when the interview is scheduled is very dependent on the country where the interview will occur. Yes, I can. So you're 20 years older than your husband, and that he's in Nigeria. Have you assisted a couple with that age gap and been successful? Yes, my team and I have. We've represented many, many couples with an age gap and numerous other red flags and have been able to help them successfully get to the finish line. Definitely understanding that immigration has a long list of red flags that they look at when determining whether or not a relationship is what they believe to be real. Age gap is one of them. Prior immigration petition. So if you filed for someone else in the past, or if someone has filed in the past for the immigrant beneficiary, multiple prior marriages. Those are some of the things that they will look at in terms of red flags. Yes, we've definitely helped couples successfully still get to the finish line. We, just like we are with any case, any client, any couple that we represent, we're very meticulous and understanding your story of love so we can determine what evidence is going to be the best and how we can best present your case so immigration understands your love story and that it's real. So I would be happy, like I said at the beginning, I'd be happy to meet with you in a Zoom call or by phone, and we can talk in private about your relationship and your goals and talk about what my recommended path is for you for your course of action and how we can help you to be successful with your immigration case. Okay. So I have a question here from, so how is asylum different than the I-130? Do those who are crossing the border get to basically complete the process sooner? So I know there's a lot of activation around the topic of the border. I know there's a lot of divided opinions, different opinions, and I really want to rise above that here today and just give you information, education about immigration law. Because something I see is that wait times are long. They're long for everyone. It's a stressful, bureaucratic process. And there's so many different areas of immigration law. There's family-based immigration law. That's what my team and I, our focus, our zone of joy and genius is helping couples and their families navigate the immigration process. There is employment-based immigration, and that's all the different types of employment-based visas for specialty workers, for musicians, things of that nature. And then there's the humanitarian sector of immigration. And humanitarian is for individuals who have been trafficked or their country of origin is not safe and they are coming here and asking for asylum. So asylum is actually international law. Asylum is what all countries afford citizens of other countries this ability to come and ask for refuge. If you are in a situation in your country where it is literally not safe for you to be there. And so the process for asylum seekers, and this is international law, the process for asylum seekers is that they are supposed to go to another country where they believe that they can seek refuge and safety and ask for that safety and refuge. So for those who are, coming, whether they come on a tourist visa and they ask for asylum, at the airport, or if they file after, that is the process. So asylum is different than family law because it's a whole different set of laws. It's a whole different process, and it's really not necessarily easier. Yes, I know that there's a lot out there about, oh, well, it feels unfair, right? That individuals are coming and getting to enter into this asylum process and get into the immigration, be in the United States and have this process started. And so it's important to understand first that is the process, right, for asylum seekers. And it's not necessary. It's totally different. One is processed by an immigration court or a USCIS asylum office, and then the I-130 petition is reviewed and decided by a completely different office and different set of adjudicators. So it's those different sets of laws, different processes, and asylum applications take a very, very long time to be decided. So those are just some of the general differences. And yes, I know I have another question about the border and elections. And so yes, the entry of individuals into the United States without documents. Like I said, that's part of the process for asylum seekers. Is there a lot that needs to be fixed with the process? Absolutely. Is there a lot that needs to be fixed in the world of immigration in general? Absolutely. There's so much that needs to be fixed. And that's why my team and we are always advocating. I've actually gone to Washington, D.C. with the American Immigration Lawyers Association group quite a few times to advocate for my clients and to talk with representatives of Congress and help them understand these long wait times for couples cannot continue. And with so many individuals, right, coming to the United States, that problem is very complex. And because it involves the US immigration system, and then it involves the what they call the pull factors, what pulls people to the US, and then the push factors. What are the things that are happening in their country that are, pushing them this way? So it's a very complex, and yes, there's a lot that needs to be fixed. And I'm going to continue advocating along with all of my colleagues for change. So, all right. And I'm looking through the questions here. Let's see. I have so many. I wish I could get to all of them here today. Let's see. It looks like somebody has a celebration that I have to find because we're telling Ed's congratulations. Yay! Okay, I saw some congratulations in there. You wanted to share that your baby got her US passport. Oh, that's so awesome. Um, yeah, I remember that you were attending since since the beginning of your journey, really. And it's lovely. I really appreciate, and I know everybody does appreciate your willingness to share your updates because that's so important for anyone who's going through an immigration process to see that they're not alone and that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So congratulations. That's so awesome. We're super happy for you. All right. Okay. Let me see. I'm going to go back. I'm going to try to do as many questions as I can here. Oh, yep. And I just answered this, Amanda. So hopefully you were here earlier in the show and heard the answer. If not, this is recorded and you'll be able to watch the replay. Okay. And then sorry, there's so many because I'm streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Insta, and I'm just trying to get my bearings straight here on questions. Who's next? All right, someone from New Jersey. Awesome. Yay, Lisa, great to have you with us. Yes, and you're watching the election coverage. It's a big day. Yay, the UAE. Yes, my husband and I went to Dubai a few years back, and really we're itching to go back. All right. He likes Ferrari World in Abu Dhabi. So you're still waiting on the welcome letter from the National Visa Center. Philippines Embassy is so slow. What's the holdup? So it's a matter of whether or not you have a fiance or a spouse visa case. The spouse visa case tends to get the National Visa Center notification a little sooner. If it's a fiance visa case, and if you haven't received it, typically it'll take 30 to 60 days. If you haven't received it, then you can, reach out to the National Visa Center for an update. And then in terms of embassy interview scheduling, Manila is a higher volume post, so they are a little slower. They've made progress though since the pandemic, that's for sure, but it definitely needs to go faster. Good morning, Maria. Great to have you with us. All right. We have awesome Thomas from Austria. That's a fun picture. I love seeing everybody's pictures. All right. So is a one-time visit for the K-1 visa enough for the embassy? I know it's enough for USCIS, and there is good bona fide when my fiance visits me when we make an engagement party. Okay, I think you're asking is visiting each other one time, meeting that physical in person, being physically in person together, is that requirement met with just one visit, is what I'm understanding from your question. And so this really goes back to the responses I was giving to others about proving whether or not your relationship is real, whether it's bona fide, a real love. And one visit can be enough, and it will really depend largely on what other evidence that you have. How long have you known each other? Have you been in communication for a long time? And WhatsApp seems to be the popular place for individuals to chat and get to know one another. Video calls, does family know about your relationship? I'd really encourage you to check out that free resource on the website as well. And I have that rolling there at the bottom at immigrationforcouples.com and checking out that relationship evidence guide. Yeah, good questions. You have really good questions. Why is who is the immigration officer decide my love is real? Yeah, it's very invasive. I know it's invasive because I went through the process personally. It's been a while now, but it was the reason my husband and my journey through the immigration process was really what catapulted me and helped me find one of my life puzzle pieces to this work in the world. And so I know firsthand it's invasive. And immigration, they make this requirement, and really I think that everybody everybody will benefit from that relationship evidence guide. If you just check that out, immigrationforcouples.com, and I actually talk about why immigration makes this a requirement that your love is real, and how do they determine whether or not this love is real. What is the evidence that they were looking at? Yes, immigration officers can deny the relationship if they believe that it is fraudulent. So, if the evidence that you present seems suspicious or you have contradictory information, also how things go with the interview, they can deny your case. So, I know that there are rumors, or there's this idea out there that applying for an immigration benefit is like applying for a driver's license, but it's not, because the driver's license, it's not discretionary. The spouse visa, the fiance visa process, it's discretionary. Immigration is looking at your relationship and deciding whether or not it's real. Officers do have a policy manual, a handbook that they follow to determine whether or not this love is real, but they do that because they, if someone would just be petitioning for someone and they're not in love, it would really open the floodgates. It wouldn't be a fair system if it was, fraud based, or being able to just petition anyone and say you're married, right? So I talk about that though in the resource guide. But it is invasive. I get it. I understand where your question's coming from. I totally understand. But really checking out that relationship evidence guide. We can get on a private call. I'm happy to do that if that's something that you're interested in. And we can talk about, your relationship and how to present the strongest case possible. All right. I'm at time. So I wish I could get through I wish I could get through everybody's questions because they're really great. I will do what I can to You're very welcome. I'll do what I can, like I did today, answering questions for for you post live. So next live I can answer any questions that are popped up. Okay. All right. You're very welcome, everybody. I'm just taking a look because they're really good questions, and I wish I could get to all of them, like I said. But check out the resource center. There's tons of resources in there that answer a lot of the frequently asked questions. It's really been a joy to be with all of you today. Please, again, please go out and vote, make your voice be heard, and I will see you all next week. I will be here next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Take care, everyone. Bye.